Hi, this is Angela Coulter bringing you your June 2016 Spiritual and Metaphysical Energy Update. So there's a lot going on. Interestingly, it's just ramping up, and it just continues to. So like even using a lot of these words is duplicitous, and they were like, yeah, tell me something I don't know. Anyway, so I'm here to talk about that a little bit. That's something, a different consideration to look at. You know, this is on the eve, right after we had the Orlando incident with the shootings at the gay club. And so there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and it's not just that community. There's so much going on in terms of hate and bias and what I call separation-based energies. And there are many out there who are very spiritual and very focused on love and unity. And the question, you know, as they're scratching their heads going, well, why does it seem like it's getting worse instead of better? You know, I got the message, the understanding, remembrance of several years ago that it was going to get worse before it got better. And part of it is that as individuals, so from the perspective of what I teach and what I understand, we are all just part of the same divine consciousness. And it goes up and up and up, like our cells are part of our organs are part of our bodies are part of something bigger, and we get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we are a part of a collective, which is a singular consciousness in itself, and then there are multiple collectives. So here's the thing. Everything going on in resolution at collectives and much higher levels of consciousness simultaneously, which we are all in those places just as much as we're here, are all going through huge resolutions to complete the cycle of this set of experiences in duality and separation. And so one of the biggest ones is a very different perspective on something I'm writing about, actually writing a book about, which is, you know, we have changed over eons. Part of the experience here on Earth has been to truly delve ourselves into separation in a way of creation from separation versus creation via unity. And I'm not going to go into that a whole lot right now because there's a whole big backstory on that. But what's really important to understand is what those two energies ended up being represented as here on the earth plane were male and female energies. Separation, creation through separation, the male energy, and separation through creation through separation being the male energies, how they've developed, and creation via unity being what we consider female energies as we've developed it in our vocabulary and here and now and where we are. So what's happened, if you think of it in terms of unity consciousness, which is that oneness, that divine consciousness, ultimately to create an entire existence of creation via separation, there had to be steps of separation. And what I call separation and duality are things that we have developed into now: fear, anxiety, anger, regret, resentment, guilt, doubt, sorrow, pain, judgment, expectations, shame. All of those are separation dual-based energies. And to do that, though, we had to do several steps, right? So there are some of us who at different times, and by the way, all of us, within ourselves, have all of these energies, because if we didn't, we wouldn't be here. We're holding them as part of the experience to be in a physical body here. So some of us just tend to, in different lifetimes, embody more so of either the unity consciousness or the female energies or the separation consciousness, which are male, right? And so that's where the ego comes in, and I'm not talking about anything with judgment. This is just a different perspective because I want to get to really, I'm going through this quickly. I really want to get to the today, so that just so you have an understanding of the foundation of my understanding here. But the ego, my understanding was, and by the way, duality and separation is not only here, we have it across the universe, any place we have an identity. Ego is the creation of identity through separation. So anything with an identity with a name, with any kind of idea of separation, has an ego of some sort. It just plays out differently in all these different ways and roles throughout the universe. So anyhow, so the ego, as it has developed here, and through a number of levels of consciousness beyond here, I think gods and goddesses and the like all the stories and fights and all that kind of stuff that we've all been a part of, has developed into separation has to do with overpowering, right? There's a hierarchy in separation, that there's something better or worse versus everything is divine, right? Something is. So this is all a lot of the stuff that I teach through energy, through Trinity energy progression, and basically anything I'm teaching and seeing in session, anyone I'm seeing in session. So in talking about, like, say, hierarchy again goes back to the ego, separation-based energy, which is ultimately what we've developed into what we call male energy today. And then the male energy, the separation-based energy, resenting the unity-based energy because feeling like it was thrown out of the nest, that unity-based energy created it, which look at how we represent that today with a painful birth, right? So there's all this kind of stuff. So women have been repressed, people who hold that energy have been repressed, and all that kind of stuff. So we're moving into this space with our transformation, our ascension, our evolution, where we are stepping into the remembrance of our full divinity, that as all of us have the spark and the seed of remembrance, and some of us came here to embody that, to help others remember that within themselves, have to be really loud about it energetically, so that we can just uncover all the layers that cover it up and cause us to forget. There is a death of the ego collectively that's going on, a death of that separation-based energy, which can be what we call very much masculine energy. So it's playing out not only individually in everybody's lives, but collectively in everybody's lives, collectively in this world. Because if we are completing all of that and resolving that extent of separation, the ego that has developed in the depth of the identity in that separation is going, oh, wait, no. Nope. And there's this grasping at, no. Desperation of, we're not resolving this. We're keeping it separate. No. Anything not is of the ego too. Anything we say not, right? It's resistance and separation. So what's happening is that's resolving within us, the energy that's resolving within us, our higher self is remembering into the body here. Then what's happening is we're getting a lot of resolution that needs to happen here. So what happens to do that, though, is all of the darkness-based stuff, all of the separation-based stuff, all of that anger and fear and resentment and anxiety and whatever, which is all part of the illusion, right, has to come up to the surface to be resolved, dissolved, and just reformed and embraced. Reformed, not really reformed, reconsidered, looked at, embraced, accepted, and embraced. And in doing so, it resolves and dissolves itself back into that unity. Now, it's never not part of unity consciousness, but it's just that partition that we create to create it. So what does that translate into? What's this craziness I'm talking about? Resolution of the feminine, the masculine, and creation as we have created it all separately. And that masculine, that separation-based energy is freaking out, right? Because number one, that which we hold it within us, because all of us have all of it within us as much as around us. So as we hold it inside of us, as that resolves, any ego part of that identity, it just has this constant inner battle. So here's the funny part. Many in the LGBT community, I don't know the whole acronym. As much as I remember, LGBT community. Many who are mature and who have fully matured are in a place of full completion of those energies within themselves. So they sort of come back to this I don't need a man or a woman to complete me. I just prefer or whatever. Now, the immature parts of it, which there are many too, is just as many as are mature, like in any other sectors of any kind of separation we've done, are still battling it within themselves and therefore projecting it out and holding the energy of self-judgment, which then causes this judgment brought on. And by the way, we've all been all of it. So none of us have not been that at some point. And if we've judged that within ourselves as wrong at some point, then we project it onto others as wrong, and unless we have resolved all of that within ourselves. So beyond that, I'm talking about the Orlando thing, and honestly, I'm not surprised, because this was I'm not surprised. I'm actually surprised there wasn't more prominent things that happened like this over the weekend, because we've hit something in this past week that has been phenomenally huge in terms of resolving all the bickering between the separation and the unity-based energies that are sort of like sibling kind of things. A lot of people are manifesting sibling issues and parental issues and weird ego-based battles and all that kind of stuff. And the more we stay in love, the more it can be triggering somebody else who's not in love. And so all we can do is look at all of separation-based energy. The way for us to change it is to embrace it and love it. Love it and let it know it's never been separate from the divine. And I know it's hard to not judge. It's part of the experience. Judgment is separation-based, though. And those who are representative of, say, the groups that have killings and just a lot of things that are very present to us collectively, they volunteer to say, hey, it's time to wake up and smell the coffee, and look inside yourself to resolve all of that friction within you. Because when we finally do that, we stop needing to project it onto other people. And when we stop doing that, we stop needing to bring it up in a collective manner. Right? So not just that, we've had so much going on with the presidential elections in the United States, bringing up so much triggering, especially with, let's just say, any candidate that might be very racist and biased and separation-based. Let's just say that without any names. But that's also brought that up because it's and the reason that figure is here in our reality is to be that collective message for us of, hey, look at what's going on inside of us. And if we tend to what's inside of us and stay in a place of love and gratitude and divinity and unity, and knowing that all of it, even the separation and darkness-based stuff, is all a part of the whole, and that we embrace it in unconditional love, the more we do that, and I know the mind has an issue with that because the mind is based in the ego, and the mind, tries to separate and categorize. And part of the message here is, let's stop putting labels on everything. Let's stop, trying to separate ourselves in more special ways and making ourselves more special, and remembering we're all in this together, no matter what the package, no matter what the beliefs, or the sexual or gender orientation, or the state, or the country, the part of the world we live in, the color of our skin, all of that, it's all illusion. This is all different facets of the divine, and we've made this amazing, beautiful rainbow of everyone. So and even when we feel like we've been wronged, what many times happens is people feel like they're wronged. They impart judgment in a separation-based manner. Well, judgment is separation-based, right? So judgment is saying, oh, no, well, that's wrong, and you're wrong. Instead of saying, no, you know what, you're another facet of me, and you're here embodied as the divine as much as I am here. And that includes the shooter. That includes not only everybody who gets killed, but also the killers. Also the people who we despise in the public eye, who might be just emanating this very negative and dark energy, is a part of ourself. So all we have to look at is within ourselves without judgment to say, okay, I see that. And what's the lesson? And let's complete the lesson with ease and grace and love and forgiveness and acceptance and healing, however you want to call it, whatever the term is that you want to call it. That's how we shift. And the more we do that, now we don't have to actively, like we can do this, it's called benevolent detachment in the practice of Buddhism. But it's getting to a point of observing without reacting, observing without having a judgment. And instead stepping back and saying, okay, so if this is in my reality, why is it in my reality? What is it within me that's important to change so that I raise my vibration to this unity, consciousness, divine, unconditional love, and allow it to resolve in my life and around me, whether or not people around me choose to, or whether or not people around me choose to do the same thing, because eventually they will. As you hold this light, we become these lighthouses, these lights of unconditional love. We become these lighthouses of helping others, wanting to be the light too. We want to be the seeds of remembrance and the seeds of unconditional love. And by the way, just because something happened in one place, it's not just the one place that's the important. The important part is always in here. It's inside. The important part is to look inside and say, where am I not living in unconditional love? Where am I judging and excluding? Where can I be in a place of unity and acceptance that I haven't been previously? And where in my life do I feel that judgment and fear or anxiety come up, that I can look at and literally intentionally encompass it in unconditional love? And how do I live better in unity, in remembering that we're all one? As we raise our vibration into this level, we are setting a new base for ourselves. And part of it is that this old identity of the energies are dying. And they're dying collectively, but they're also, first and foremost, they're dying inside of us so that we can truly step into what it is we came here to be. And that is why we're getting so many messages. It feels like we're getting pounded every day. And I talk about this all the time. I've had so many videos I've done to talk about Hitler, and Hitler was a perfect, he was a perfect message for everyone at the time to remember unity, to stop hating, to stop, to complete exclusion and remember inclusion. And we had to have that huge collective bonk up the head. Now, as far as I understand, I believe and understand that we are not wanting to get to that level again. We're choosing and preferring not to. However, there's a lot. We're bringing up eons of stuff bubbling to the surface. And so, yes, my understanding was it was going to get seem worse in the 3D before it gets better. The only thing we can really do about it is to get better with ourselves. If we're all better with ourselves in a place of love and acceptance and divinity within our own being, then we're not going to want to hurt anybody else, because we recognize everybody else around us as divine, regardless of any of those former labels. Those labels are simply parts of the rainbow. And yes, it makes us all very colorful and vibrant. And now it's time to bring it all back together, to remember that, oh wait, the prism is really the diffraction of light. And that's what we all are. So let's do a clearing or healing right now. And all you have to do, doesn't matter what your practice is, or you don't have a practice, doesn't even matter. If you just want to be a part of it, I will set the intention of I am in completion of all my lessons of separation. I transcend. I exist fully in transcendence of separation energies and infighting between separation and unity consciousness and recall and remember all of it within me, embrace it with unconditional love. And I remember I'm worthy to, and allow myself to live in that space of that vibration of unconditional love and acceptance of everyone. Remember what that is? And I hold my light like the lighthouse. I am the lighthouse. I am the divine lighthouse. And it's easy and graceful. And I deserve it, as does everyone around me. And I acknowledge that all of us are part of the same divine consciousness. Oh, that feels really good. So all you have to do, and what we're going to do is the intention is to do what's to be done so that we fully and permanently exist in and manifest from the vibration of reality, where all of that is our truth, right? So all you need to do is to be open to receive, open, ready, willing, and able, and open to receive, and accept that and close your eyes. And I'll let you know when we're done. All right. That was beautiful. And a lot of resistance gaining. So for those who hung in with me here, just to clarify, because I heard some stuff while we're out there, there's no judgment on what energy we hold, right? Essentially, where we are is we hold is in transforming and getting into that place of unconditional love, or not getting into it, but remembering how to exist that way. And while we're embodied, one of the first biggest steps is taking full responsibility for our own energy and what we hold and our reality. And it's individual as well as collective. So it's one of the hardest things for us to take from the ego, because the ego's like, well, what do you mean? Look at, they're victims and this and that. And it's like, well, but they all at some level agreed to be that message. So let's honor that message. Honor the message by honoring yourself and unconditional love, and looking at your own judgments and your own darkness and letting that come to the surface and seeing the lessons that it provided and embracing it. And we're doing this for all these lifetimes and timelines across, the eons all at once. So it's a tremendous amount of stuff, which is why it's really bubbling up. I always feel like it's like a bubbling, oozing thing that's coming to the surface. And so let's step back. And when it comes into our reality, step back and say, so I wonder, so what is it that I'm holding within me that I'm emanating that to cause it to reflect back to me in my reality? And this is pretty advanced stuff. But really, at the end of the day, it comes back to the simplicity of living in unconditional love. Accepting all as one. Accepting that you and I are the same divine being, just reflected or refracted into a different way, a different color. And we do it differently in other levels we do it differently, and the same in different levels of consciousness as well. We have a lot of that resolving up there too, which is why then it is resolving that way here as well. So if you have any questions, you can contact me at spiritualalchemy.net, or you can look at the practice of trinityenergyprogression.com, of which I am the originator. If you go to the website, it has on the homepage there's a video. You can click on the thumbnail to watch the video of what the practice is about and see if it's for you. Or you can contact me with any questions. So until next time, namaste. I love you all. Thank you. Bye.